Then we ended up getting back on the bus, and we ended up going to Prague. Uh, let me see, we ended up getting to Prague at 6 p.m., but it was still daylight outside. We ended up getting to Prague at 6 p.m., checking into the hotel, freshening up. This hotel, if I remember correctly, I don't remember. I don't remember this hotel. Interesting. And it was 7 p.m. Not mistaken. I can actually give you some more. I found a Lego lady in Crims. I ended up taking pictures with her. I think I may have violated her. I'm so sorry, Lego lady. Yeah, like I said, she took us on a walking tour in Crims. She took us to a church. I had some moonshine. I actually bought it. They had several. One of them tasted like medicine. I think that was cherry. Cherry tastes like medicine. And I think I bought nut. Nut was a little sweet. Why'd you sit there? Pause. Anyway, I ended up buying some moonshine while I was there. It was a natural reaction. Moving on. Wine tasting, and then we get to Prague. It was a later night at Prague. That's what it was. Ended up checking to the hotel, and if I'm not mistaken, Adonis did another little walking tour, or a little walking thing, where he was like, I'm gonna go out, if you want to come with me, follow. And so we did. We ended up exploring the Prague Christmas market, which, like I said, the Prague Christmas market wasn't anything too special. It was early in the night, so it was very active. Oh, that's where we stayed. That's why I don't remember staying in a hotel in Prague, because we didn't stay in a hotel in Prague. We stayed in a hostel. It was an old orphanage. It used to be an orphanage. We ended up staying there, and I remember I had like room 13, or was it 13 or was it under 13? I don't remember. Hold on. I actually have it right here. Like, I'm looking at it. Mm. It don't say. It don't say. What is this? Oh, this is restaurants. Anyway, I remember staying. We had a hostel. And I remember staying in like I think it might have been room 13. And it was weird because none of the floors matched up. Like, the elevator only took you to like maybe like 5 different floors. And so, like, if you go to like floor number 1, you either walk out and you either walk upstairs. Yeah, you go to, sorry, not floor 1. You go to like floor 2 and you either have to walk upstairs to floor 3 or walk downstairs to floor 1. And then it was weird. You go to floor 4, and you walk to 5, you walk down to 6. I don't know. It was something weird along those lines. But I remember staying on like the very top floor. You get off on the last stop on the elevator, and then you walk up a few set of stairs, and then there's 2 rooms here, and then there's this little spiral staircase that goes up into a creepy like hall, and so you walk up the stairs. The stairs are creaking, and the hallway light turns on, and then you just get to this little like nook, and there's 2 rooms there. Me and my roommates have this one room, and then there's a married couple that has another room that's literally right next door. And if you don't have your card, if you don't have your door key ready, that hallway light is gonna turn off to you. You're gonna be stuck in the dark. I'm so glad that place was not haunted, because ain't no way. Ended up freshening up there, and then we just ended up doing his little walking thing. A lot of us, split out separate ways. We ended up going to get dinner. I think I was with the same guy that I went out to for. No, I think I was with Victor at this time. I think me and Victor ended up finding Victor. And Victor and I ended up sticking with each other. We went out to go get food. We went to this pasta place to get food. I think I ordered 2 bowls of pasta. I'm so sorry. We went out to go get pasta. Everybody else, we split up and went our separate ways. And then we ended up just going home. Oh, sorry, we ended up meeting people at this bar. It wasn't a bar. It was just more like of a pub type of scene. They were drinking beer. They had like a beer challenge, and then we ended up going to this bar for like some nightlife, but it wasn't really doing it for us. The what it was is at the bottom floor. You had to pay to get into the bottom floor, and my roommate ended up paying because my roommate, not Victor, Nico ended up paying to go to the bottom floor to check it out. And when I tell you, he went out every night on this trip. He went out every night on this trip, and he didn't get white boy wasted. He was very responsible with how he partied, but he went out every night on this trip. And so he went on there, and it wasn't. There was nothing going on. It wasn't active until we left, and then it started to get a little jumpy. So some people stayed, and that's when it started to get jumpy. But I digress. We ended up getting into day 8, and we met up with our tour guide David, and we did a little sightseeing tour with David. He took us up to Prague Castle. We walked around there for some hours. It was actually really nice because we had to go. First of all, we got to see the changing of the guard, which if you've seen changing of the guards before, it's nothing spectacular. You see the process where the guards come out in a very synchronized and structured way, and then they switch out with the other guards, and then the guards go, and then they stand there for like an hour. I think they stand there for an hour, and then they just go and they take a break and they move around to the next position. I don't know. I'm assuming that's how the guard change works. But David ended up meeting up at our hostel. We ended up going with David, catching a tram, and then walking, and then getting off at a stop, walking up to the Prague Castle. We ended up seeing the changing of the guards. And then we went in, and it was like this little, he was giving us, the little 1 2 1 2 1 2 about this little courtyard area. And it was actually, the castle is actually where the president stays. So I thought it was kind of cool to be like, oh my gosh, hey, the president's room is like literally right there. But you come in and you go through this hallway, and on the other side is just giant cathedral, just Space Cadet Cathedral. Like it was, I don't know, man, it was crazy. But that's really it. We ended up just doing a little walking tour. He seeing the cathedral. We walked down. He took us to the John Lennon Wall, which the Beatles were like very popular because the Beatles are from the UK, so they're very popular in Europe. And I want to say this wall was made for John Lennon when he died, but I could be wrong. But on the wall, it's a little mural painted for John Lennon, and people gather there and they post stickers on the wall, just kind of leaving their mark type of thing. And then he took us to this bridge. Don't ask me what the bridge name was, but he took us to this bridge, and he gave us the history on the bridge. And then we met up back at the Christmas market, before like the Christmas market life kind of started. We ended up getting there, and every hour the astronomical clock, not astrological, astronomical clock, just puts on a little show. So I ended up going with Lexi and one of our other tour mates. We ended up going to get like a burger or something, and it was on the hour. The clock, this came out. The little puppet thingies, they did their show. Nothing spectacular, but people go there every hour to see it. Yada 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 type stuff. We end up finishing, and we end up finding stuff to do. We end up going to like a sex machine museum. So machines that were created for people to please themselves, or for people to please their partner, or it was interesting. It was very interesting. They had from a machine that does the licky to like jewelry that women would wear on their parts, or their breast kisses, things that men will wear on their wiener, very very exotic things. Like it was interesting. It was interesting. And there was a nice little souvenir shop that we stopped at next, and then I think from there we actually just went back to the hotel. I think Lexi was done for the day, so I ended up going with Lexi back to the hotel, and we just chilled at the hotel. I know a group of our tourmates actually wanted to go out to a bar, and this was the day of the medieval dinner, and I know a group of them, they wanted to go out to the bar, so that's what we ended up doing. And so we went to this bar called Anonymous, which it was very V for Vendetta type of thing. You know, when they were wearing those anonymous masks, it was cool. They, first of all, it was only reservation based. You could only buy like 2 drinks, and each drink had like some sort of like gimmick that went to it. There was one that, if I'm not mistaken, was like called a messenger or a member or something like that, where you could buy the drink and they give you a postcard. You would sign the postcard, and then they will put the address, and they send the postcard to that to the person that you, or to the address that you wrote down. And it was obviously anonymous, and no one would know who wrote it unless you was like, oh my gosh, I wrote this for you while I was at this bar. Another one was like, you buy the drink and you get a Polaroid. Another one had a fire show. It was very cool. And then we went to another bar called Absinthery. Nothing crazy there. And then we went to the medieval show. The medieval show was kind of interesting. They gave us medieval food, like medieval, like such food. Like, you said you wanted a turkey leg, oh yeah, they gave you a giant turkey leg. They were not playing. Yeah. They had belly dancing. They had fire. They had actors. They had all that. We meet over show again. It was nothing. It was nothing to be like ooh ah about, but it was still a nice and fun experience, especially if you've never been to a medieval dinner like that. From there, we ended up leaving the medieval dinner, and we ended up going to this club. It had like 5 levels to it, and each level was like a different theme. You got the bottom level, you got the disco level, you got the throwback level, you got the classic, like something level, you got the ice bar downstairs. It was a very, very fun night. Lexi ended up getting wasted. She ended up getting wasted. And what's so funny is that she ended up getting wasted. She woke up the next day not being able to function. Ended up taking her wine bottle that she bought in Crims, downing it, and then it just got wasted again. I was like, girl, what? So she ended up didn't do anything at all the next day. From there, from there was one of the last day in Prague, which was another EF optional tour called the Kutna Hora tour, where you go to Kutna Hora and you visit their bone church. EF, I didn't know if this would be something that I would be interested in. Actually, it was something I was interested in, but I didn't know if that was something that I should have partaken. So I waited. And when I was there, some people said that they were doing it. Some people said that they weren't doing it. So I ended up not buying it through EF. I seen that the price actually went up because I was already on the trip and it was so close to the trip that I was like, okay, and then I won't do it. Then I ended up getting FOMO, and so I ended up purchasing a trip for myself. So I ended up waking up a little later. They had to get up. I forgot. I don't know what time they had to get up, but they had to get up pretty early because it was like about an hour, 2-hour trip to the Kutna Hora. And so I was like, I'm not going to do it. And if I do wake up early enough, then I'll just buy my own ticket. I end up waking up early enough. And I was like, I have nothing planned. So I'm just going to go do this while I'm here. And I end up getting up and doing this trip. I end up getting up and going to the train station. And I end up calling a cab going to the train station, getting on a, I don't know how, because he said he got us metro passes for us being in Prague that worked, or that worked on, he got us public transportation passes that worked on metro trams, buses, you know, metro trams and buses, whatever you ride, it worked for. And it was only for Prague. It was only for Prague. And I thought that it worked in Czech Republic, and it didn't work in Czech Republic. So I ended up finding the train to the Kutna, getting on the train. The person's coming by, you know, asking for tickets. He was like, "Dude, this is not a ticket." He's like, "This is not a ticket." And I was like, "What do you mean this is not a ticket? This is it works, right?" He was like, "Yeah, it only works for Prague." He was like, "It doesn't work for the train, and it only works in Prague. Anything in Prague, any public transportation in Prague, but not the train, not this train going outside of Prague." And I was like, "Fudge, what do I do?" He was like, "You could buy a ticket." He was like, he was like, "Well, I can, you would just have to purchase, a ticket." And so I purchased a ticket from him, which was only like $5, thank God. And I was already on that train for a good, like, maybe 20 minutes, as he, maybe 20 minutes as he was coming around, you know, to collect the ticket. And I was like, dang. I was like, I don't want to get arrested. I don't want to get arrested. I don't want to get arrested while I'm in Prague. While I'm in Czech Republic. But I ended up buying a ticket. It was only like $5. Then I got there, got off the stop. They had Wi-Fi, so I was able to connect to see where I needed to go. Like, it was only maybe like a 20-minute walk from the train station. So I ended up walking, going to the help desk, and it was like, yes, you could buy this. This package will get you this cathedral and this in the Bone Church, or you can buy this package to get you this cathedral, the Bone Church, and then another cathedral in downtown Kutna. And I was like, I'm not finna go to downtown Kutna. That's like a 30-minute drive. I'm just finna stick. I'm just finna stay right here. I'm gonna stay right here. So I ended up buying that ticket, which was like maybe like $17 to go walk inside the cathedral, just walk around the cathedral. Again, it's a cathedral. And then I ended up going inside the Bone Church. The Bone Church was actually smaller than I expected. On top of being smaller than I expected, I couldn't take pictures or videos. But it's essentially just a church made of bones. I think the lore behind it is that they had to relocate the cemetery and move the bodies. And somebody suggested just, you know, making the bodies part of the church. And so that's what they did. They made the bones a part of the church, which is why it's called the Bone Church. From there, I ended up getting back on a train and going back to Prague. Yeah, purchasing my ticket, going back to Prague, and just doing a little more walking around as I made my way back to the hotel. I asked some of my tourmates that actually bought the excursion, like, how was it? And it was like, honestly, it wasn't really worth like the 90-something dollars, because again, they went to one cathedral, then they went to another cathedral. The cathedral was downtown, which that cathedral seemed to be a lot more aesthetically pleasing to the eye than the cathedral that I went to. But again, I was not going to go downtown. So, but it was like, it wasn't really worth it. The only thing that was really good about that excursion was the food. So I do say, if you decide to go visit the Kutna, or if you do decide to visit the Bone Church, don't plan your whole day just to visit the Bone Church, because it's not huge. And I guess just like see what else is around that area. If not, plan for like a 2-hour trip from Prague to Kutna to see a church for like 20 seconds, and then another 2-hour trip back to Prague. I'm gonna end up going back to the hotel, and this was our last day in Prague, so we ended up having the farewell dinner that I was telling you guys about, which I don't know what I had for this one. He actually didn't put this on the chat, but it looked like it was chicken breasts with some sort of gravy sauce and potatoes and some salad. It was really good, y'all. I know for a fact it was good because I enjoyed it. I know for a fact it was good because I'm a big bag. And I was like, you gonna eat that? They was like, no, you can have it. Great. Let me clean your plate. I ended up cleaning my plate and I ended up finishing my plate and then I cleaned like 2 other plates after. Maybe three other plates. But I know I cleaned some plates because it was that good, yo. It was that good. I ended up cleaning some plates. Um, yeah, I ended up cleaning some plates after my plate. But again, it was a farewell dinner. So this is the bittersweet moment where this is the last time that we see each other, everybody in the room, and it's kind of sad because one of the couples actually weren't feeling good this day, so they end up not doing anything and staying in the room. I don't know if they just weren't feeling good or they got COVID. I think they just weren't feeling good, and so they end up not doing anything this day, which was sad because it was the last day we were all get to see each other and we were taking group pictures and all that fun stuff, and they weren't there with us. Um, but like I said, this was one of the so people stood up, people made toast. I know Nico made a toast, um, and Adonis made a toast, and we took pictures. And Adonis actually gave us gifts. He gave us a little what looked like a little Santa Claus like elf type of character. He had one for everybody, and he had placed it on. He had it placed on the table. He was like this fine one, da da da, da, and it was kind of cute. We call his name is Big A. My grandma calls him whatever the Hungarian equivalent to Santa Claus is. That's what she calls him, but his name is Big A for Adonis. And that's just a group thing. We call him Big A, so we was like, okay, it's Big A. We call Adonis Big A, so we made him Big A. And then from there, we actually just went back to the hotel. Sorry, to the hostel. and and the cellar of the hostel it's where they serve breakfast, and they also have a bar. And so we all just kind of just met up at the bottom of like in the cellar. And we all just met up and we just hung out. We played video games. We had drinks. I ended up leaving the hostel real quickly to go back to the Christmas markets to get a shirt. Yes, by myself. I just walked out, hopped on the train, took the train, got off at the Christmas markets, walked to a shop. How much is this? Great. Give it to me. Hop back on the train, took the train back to the hostel, got off at the tram stop, not the train, the tram, got off at the tram stop, walked to the hostel, walked in the hostel, walked downstairs. Micah! Hey guys. Like, I'm here now. And we just spent time. It wasn't really it wasn't anything serious. Me and my roommates, we took pictures because we were just that good. But it wasn't like just that final moment wasn't like it wasn't something spectacular. And like I love how there's always drinks gonna be involved on the last night. Always drinks gonna be involved. But it's not like we went out. I know my last day in Belize, we went out to a club. My last day in Egypt, we ended up we was at the hotel, and they actually had like a dance room in the hotel. So we went up there. We started off at the pool, and then we went up to the dance room. And then my last day in Spain, I don't know what my last day in Spain was, but it was just fun because we were just in the cellar. Cellar had a closing time, but we were in the cellar and we were just enjoying each other's company. We've been stuck with each other for 10 days. So, we had to we had to end up liking each other or being able to vibe with each other. So just us being down there in the cellar and we're just, we're kikiing, we're laughing, we're talking about experiences. We're sharing this information about us. We're sharing this information about us. We're getting to know each other more, a little more in depth in this one final moment because we may never see each other again. Yes, I have you on social media, but I may never see you in person again. So I guarantee for a fact won't meet this person again. Not saying that this is a farewell, but the person that I met on this trip, right? is not going to be the person that I will meet later on in life, right? If we were to ever cross paths again, you won't be the same person. I won't be the same person. You won't be the same person. And that's not a bad thing. That's just, it's part of life. You know, you live and you grow, you change as a person, right? And so having these final moments here is not only saying this might be the last time I see you, but this will for sure be the last time I see this person that you are. And even though, you know, if we meet up again, great. But, you know, it's like I said, it's a bittersweet moment because you spend 10, 11, 12, 13 days with these people. In some cases, you might end up spending 52 days with these people. That's not true. But you might end up spending 52 days with these people. And, like, you have no choice but to become good friends and close friends with these people. So then it's just like, dang, like I know I've only been with you for like 10 days, but I feel like I've known you for my whole life, and now that we have to part ways and go back to our separate lives type of thing. I will say, like, there was just this one book that people was signing, like not just us, but like you open the book and like there was just people signed it throughout their stays. And so this was kind of fun. I put this was lit EFUB, you know, Micah, and we just all signed something saying, hey, you know, da 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 da. I remember one fun thing on this trip was that Jenna was my tour mate, and this was her first trip on EF Ultimate Break. And when I tell you, homegirly was, you know, of course we were on day one. We're all recluse. You know, some of us try to branch out of our box. I definitely try to sometimes now, try to step outside of the box so I can make other people feel welcome. Jenna was one of those people where it was her first trip and she didn't know what to expect, and so like she definitely made some really good connections to the point of, like, I'm literally next week. I just bought my trip to Arizona. Next week I'm going to her wedding. Lexi's coming with me too. Me and Lexi got so close on this trip, so now she's going to her wedding. And we was like, oh yeah, we're going. It was Lexi's first trip too. It was Lexi's first time on an EF Ultimate Break trip too. So it was just like perfect. And we were all able to form a close bond together. She was like, Jenna was like, deadass, if you guys want to come to my wedding, let me know and I will make an EF table. And I was determined. I was like, yeah, girl, I'm coming to your wedding. Like, you invited me, I'm coming to your wedding. Because me personally, I don't see a lot of my EF tour, like EF friends outside of a trip. Even the ones that live in Florida. I know I was supposed to meet up with one of them to go to Halloween Horror Nights last year, and that ended up not happening. But I know there's a couple of people in Florida. Actually, my roommate from Spain is from Florida. He lives in Castleberry. Sorry, y'all. Just having a bad time. My roommate from Spain lives in Florida. He's from Castleberry. My other tourmate from Spain lives on East Orlando. So, you know, there's people that I can always reach out to. Sometimes our lives just might not line up for us to see each other. So the fact that I was able to get this invitation to go to across the country. I've never been to Arizona. I've never been out the East Coast. So the fact that I get this opportunity just to go to Arizona and be like, I made it out the East Coast, but also to be like, you are someone I literally met 3 months ago. We literally only been around each other for 10 days. I met you 3, 4, 5 months ago. Now I'm here at your wedding. It's an honor. So to finish the trip off in Prague, we end up having to part ways, you know, going to the airport in groups. I had this chocolate muffin that I bought before I went to the Cut and Horror. Because it was early in the morning, I haven't eaten, I missed breakfast. So I bought the chocolate muffin, bomb-ass chocolate muffin. I bought another one when I got back, then I bought another one at the airport. Bro, when I tell you that chocolate muffin is bomb, it was bomb anyway. And so yeah, we got onto the plane. You know, we all part our separate ways. Um, just traveling back home. I had a connecting flight in Paris, which I've never seen so many black people in Paris. I'm sorry, I'm gonna say it. I've never seen so many black people in Paris, and you know, and I understand like the sense of Paris. Um, it's a lot of like African. The black people that I see in Paris are, you know, African, from or African descent. I know that, but I didn't expect to see that many people in Paris. You know, African and Haitian and all that fun stuff. Never expect to see that many people in Paris at all, at all. So, um, yeah, and another funny thing is that some of my tour mates actually, some of them didn't go home. Some of them actually stayed, and some of them with the I know a handful of people actually went to Germany. Two chicks on the trip that they've never met each other before. They only met each other on this trip, and they said, you know, actually, it was like, if you're down, I'm down, and they actually booked their. They used EF to get them a flight to another, to get them a flight to Germany. They end up flying with each other to this one country, hanging out with each other for a couple of days. Then they end up going their separate ways. While another guy went to another country. Like so, like it was just like again, I met you for 10 days, and literally willing to travel to another country, which you just extend my stay outside of America. So I don't know. Let me go ahead and finish this off with y'all, and finish this plate of food that I got here. That's just it's cold. It's cold, but it's still so good. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I know that's what I sound like. I'm fighting with it. Mm-hmm. 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 Y'all hear that? Mm. Mm-hmm. 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 There we go. So, what was I saying? Oh, yeah. And I was I was very skeptical to take this trip because my first trip out the country was in Greece, and we ended up meeting with another group, another Florida group for one. We ended up meeting with another group and having to merge tour groups. And my tour director was like, "Yeah, I'm not a big fan of like multi-country trips because I feel like if you're gonna go to experience a country, you should experience it for all it has to offer, just in one country." And from that day forward, I that was my philosophy. Yes, I don't want to when I book my trips, I want to book single country trips. Um, I want to book single country trips. I want to spend my days inside this one country and immerse myself in one country. Um, Belize was a little different because it was only a day. It's not like I was going to Belize for 2 days and then Guatemala for 2 days and then Mexico for 3 days. Like it was just you were going to Belize, you were going to Guatemala for one day, and you were only doing one thing, and that was just to see this temple and then go back to Belize. But this was I picked this trip because, like I said, it was cheap. I want to see the Christmas markets. It wasn't necessarily because I get the country hop, because I was not a big fan of the idea of country hopping. I was like, I'm not gonna get as much out of it as I thought I would. I thought it was gonna feel very rushed. I thought we was gonna go to Prague, and I thought we was gonna go to Budapest, and then have to wake up and go to Austria, and then have to wake up and go to Prague. But that wasn't the case, really. And I think what really helped with with I think what really helped was how much free time we had. Um, some of my other trips, you go to where again you're immersed in one country for X amount of time. So it's like you wake up and you have a jam-packed day from sun up to sundown, and then the next day is a free day, and then you know you're and the next day is a travel day, so you're moving to across the country, da 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 da. Versus this one, it felt like it wasn't jam-packed. It was like, okay, we're gonna wake up early, we're gonna do this, and then you have a free day. All right, then you have the rest of the day to yourself. And then we're gonna wake up early, and then we're gonna go out and do this later tonight. And we're gonna wake up early, and you're gonna have a free morning to yourself, and then we're gonna do this later tonight. We're gonna have then we're gonna do this in the morning, and you're gonna have the rest of the day to yourself, right? I think the amount of free time that we had really played in us being able to immerse ourselves in each country. Because I definitely felt like I got the most out of all the countries, even the places that we stopped in for a day, like Bratislava. I knew that I guess I could prepare myself knowing that it was just a passing, like we were just passing through that city and not actually stopping for a day in it. We were just passing through. So I was able to be like, okay, cool. I mentally prepared myself just to stop through Bratislava, look through some things, maybe pick something out, and then keep myself going. Versus knowing that, oh, I'm staying in Austria for 2 days. You know, this is what I want to do. This is what I want to do. This is what I want to do, and then not being able to do that. Like having the expectation, setting my expectations, and then not having them meet. And while I was there, so yeah. So long story short, I didn't think I was gonna be a big fan of country hopping, and this tour right here actually proved me wrong. And I don't know I don't know if I would country hop again, but I know that if I would country hop again, that I would be content in that choice. I would still prefer to just go to one country at a time and visit that country as is, but I would not be opposed to country hopping. I got to see 4 countries for the price of one. So like, why would you not want a country hop? You feel me? So I would do it again. So that was my trip to Hungary, to the Christmas markets in Budapest, Prague, Vienna, and Prague. Um, this is something, again, if you never traveled with EF tours before, it is something that I think you should partake in. I've visited 9 countries with them, and each experience with the country is just as great as the last. This is not a paid advertisement. This is my honest opinion. I don't have any issues with EF Tours. EF Tours has never given me issues. I've never had to really do anything but pick a country, pay the trip, and then bring money to spend while I'm on the trip. That's really it. That's really it. I have to say that that's all the work that you have to do. Which, and I know traveling, especially traveling by your being a solo traveler and being a first time traveler, it's kind of hard. It's hard. It's hard. Have not planned a trip out the country by myself. I've tried. No, I haven't planned a trip out the country by myself. Planning my trip to Arizona next week was even hard because I'm trying to find the cheapest flights. Trying to find a hotel, making sure that I have transportation. I'm only going for like 2 nights. I'm only going for like 2 nights. I'm only going for 2 nights. And I found that stressful, just being like, okay, but how do I know this flight is perfect? And I don't this I want to go on this airline because I know this. If I look at this airline, they're gonna charge me an arm and a leg to do A, B, C, D. Or if I do this airline is an arm and a leg, but I get all this included, right? There's little things that you have to factor in and just play with. From hotels, make sure that you have the right hotel, make sure that you have the most convenient hotel, just stuff like that. Where booking through EF and everything, especially going out the country, booking through EF, everything is taken care of for you. You have a tour director there that can handle any issues that you have. They book the hotels, they book the flights. All you have to do is just be present. That can definitely be a load off of something. That can be a load off for people, not having to do that on their own. Which I guess will take me. Wow, this is actually my longest podcast ever. This will take me into my next segment on my trip to Costa Rica. My trip to Costa Rica. So, I'll keep this cute and sweet. I'm going to Costa Rica. If you're listening to this, and you have time, in December. So that gives you 5 to 6 months, depending on how you look at it. And it's going to be a nice little 10-day trip to Costa Rica. It's going to be during the holidays. So that is, we fly out on December 24th. And we come back on January 2nd. So for your case, you'll be gone for Christmas. You'll be gone for New Year's. For my case, I'll be gone for Christmas, my birthday, and New Year's. The reason why I did this trip is because, one, I wanted to fly south again. I didn't want to go anywhere during the winter. And plus, they didn't have anywhere that flew in on my birthday, or that was through my birthday time. That was a big factor, because I wanted to take a trip that was going through my birthday and not on my birthday, if that makes sense. A lot of the trips they had, either you fly out on the 26th or you fly in on the 26th. And I don't want to spend my birthday on an airplane trying to get from one terminal to another terminal and possibly missing my flight. I don't think that I should spend my birthday like that. I want to spend my birthday being active in that country. So that's why I booked this trip, because it was honestly the only one they had. And then I found out they had a Thai trip, which I thought was like, oh my gosh, going to Thai for my birthday, going to Thailand for my birthday would be good. But then I was like, no, because it's in the northern hemisphere, so it's going to be cold. But I was like, then I did a little more research, and I was like, well, Thailand is almost equivalent to like Florida in a sense, so it's not going to be as cold. But then it's expensive. Flights to Asia are a little more expensive than other places, or trips to Asia are a little more expensive than to other places. So it was, I knew I was not gonna have that money within the next 6 to 7 months. So I'm going to Costa Rica. Which, if you're interested, like I said, it's December 24th to January 2nd. It's the New Year's itinerary, so we'll definitely have some special event happening for New Year's Eve. And then New Year's Day is a farewell dinner, and then, we leave on January 2nd. On my birthday, it's a free day in Arenal region, or an optional whitewater rafting, evening hot springs, which I'm definitely going to do that for my birthday. Yeah, so the shameless plug is that if you were interested in going to Costa Rica in December, and you are afraid to do something, you're afraid to travel by yourself, whatever the case may be, come with your boy. We all still get a discount. You get like $100 off your ticket. I have no promo code, so don't think that's that. But I will have like a referral link in the down below, I guess, the bio of this video or this podcast, where you are more than welcome to click on that and just check out the trip. If you want to go, book it. December 24th to January 2nd. And you can put my name down, Micah Gregory, as like your travel partner. Um, yeah, that's all that I have for you guys. I thank you guys. I want to thank you guys for listening to this 2 hour long episode. Um, it's a little different from all my traveling episodes where I kind of like just rush through everything. I did kind of do that with this one, but I guess I just wanted to. I could make this a 2 part. Wait a minute. But I just wanted to give you guys the experience of the Christmas markets. I definitely think that you should experience the Christmas markets. It's a very beautiful and wholesome experience. It really not humbles your inner child, but it nurtures your inner child. Especially if you're someone who like me who's never seen snow before, and your first time experiencing snow was in another country. My first time on a flight was to another country. My first time in a cruise was in another country. So my first time seeing snow was in another country. Hello, my inner child is like, what? I can't believe this. So definitely do it. Definitely think about traveling with EF Ultimate Break, traveling to these places. I even have I have the recommendations that I have on my trip. I'm willing to do my research and give it to you guys. That's what I plan on doing with a lot of these trips. Is like I use EF Ultimate Break to go on these trips to have a stressful trip to these countries, and if I ever want to go back to these countries, I save a lot of the places. I save a lot of these places on my Google Maps. So I save a lot of the hotels and a lot of the events that we do, a lot of the shopping places a lot of the places that I go shopping at. I save all these places. That way, if I were to ever go back to these countries, I can plan my itinerary, knowing that these are trusted locations, trusted hotels, trusted drivers, trusted tour directors. That these are trusted locations that I'm not afraid to say, hey, if you want to go out to this country, here are some places for you to look at because I've been here before and I trust these places. You feel me? Um, we're gonna end the episode here with a someone that I've met. A friend of mine actually took me to an art pop up. And if you've never been to an art pop up, it's where a lot of local artists come together and they meet and display their art, as well as music artists will come and perform. And one of the artists here, my friend B introduced me while we was at this pop up, and they go by the name HAIZE, House of HAIZE. Um, Let me give you a proper introduction. Once I find them, give me 1 second, please. Perfect. So, if I'm not mistaken, they are a Florida native. I don't know. I don't know much about this person. Like I said, I just met them. And it was in brief passing, so I can't really give you much information on them. But I know they are an up and coming artist, and they just debuted their latest EP in 2023. The EP is called 222. And they have several songs within this EP that, sorry, 6 songs within this EP that I would definitely recommend you take a listen to, as well as give them a follow on Instagram. I'll do all my stuff like that and give them some support. This song here is called Love Lust. This song here is called Love Lust by HAIZE. Thank you guys. I'm Micah Gregory, and this is The Micah Show.
Off